you.
Excellent. Okay.
For applauding Mrs. Stewart.
All right. I'm going to combine our public hearing on refunding the bond and the good of the cause for the public. Where members of the public are reminded this is a public televised meeting. Comments are limited to 5 minutes for good of the cause, and if you have specific student and staff issues, please address them with the appropriate administrator. Is there anyone who wishes to address the board on either the public hearing on the bond refunding or the good of the cause generally?
Perhaps we
So
should allow Mr. Giuliana to give us a little
Yes.
layman's overview of the,
Really?
yeah.
That's all the good of the cause.
All right.
I asked him specifically for this
I will
earlier
keep it
today.
brief.
Okay.
So, and yes, you did. You did email me earlier about
Yes.
this. So the purpose on the refunding of bonds is that it provides us an opportunity to pay off some of our current bond debt, which essentially are our mortgages on our properties, on our buildings. So we will be able to pay off a portion and refinance it at a significantly lower rate. Originally, in the backup documents, we had indicated that it was projected to be about a $220,000 savings with a payoff of 5 years on this block of bonds. We went out and did the pricing with our financial advisors. One of the items where we have a recommendation later on the agenda to enter into the contract with the bank for the refinancing would actually result in about $100,000 more than the original $220,000 savings. Over the 5-year period, that will come out to a reduction on the debt service of almost $50,000 per year over the next 5 years. So that's what the public hearing is about, and the actions that the board will be taking, and I hope voting in favor of, will be to actually reduce the tax
I
impact.
will ask, why do they set up a public hearing for something as seemingly as easy as this?
Anything having to do with a bond ordinance requires a public hearing.
And bond counsel and financial advisors are two different entities.
Yes. Yes.
But bond counsel would probably counsel you to go for something like this,
Oh,
wouldn't they?
we have
Okay.
worked with both the financial advisor and bond counsel on this package, and everybody's in agreement.
Okay. Savings works? Anyone else? Public hearing. Anyone else in the audience want to speak on either matter? Okay, well, seeing no one, we will close both the public hearing and the good of the cause. I'm going to combine the remaining items on the agenda. So may I have a motion for, and if anyone needs to abstain when we do the roll call vote, let the board secretary know what item you're abstaining from, but if you are, voting yes on the rest, that you're doing so. May I have a motion for the remaining items in the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Shaw, second by Mrs. Becker. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Becker?
Bernie, perhaps you could talk about this very exciting food truck concessions that we're approving? Now, I'm not being sarcastic.
I know you're not.
I think it's really exciting.
Yes.
Yep.
So I think we discussed this a bit at Finance 2 meetings ago, and was also
Strategic plan.
part of a presentation that was made back when we had Aramark doing the update on child nutrition.
Yes.
And it was part of the strategic planning.
And yes.
Correct.
That's the most
Okay.
important thing, is
On
it was
nutrition.
recommended by the community, so.
So we are having an opportunity here to contract with a couple of providers, and this will be a test bed for us to see how it works. We have one that is going to provide food, and I believe the other one is for beverages, if I'm not mistaken. And the idea here is, while we'll also receive a return on the sales, part of what we will also be receiving is data regarding what the sales are, so that we can better refine what direction we want to go with, whether it makes sense to continue to do this on a contract basis, whether it makes sense to acquire our own food truck and operate it on our own.
And again, when will these be operated?
These will go into operation immediately.
No, I mean the
What kind of events?
time
Oh,
of the
the
day.
events? So for example, events we would be servicing would be those that would be contracted at the JM Pack. There are many large activities that take place there where the Performing Arts Center is rented for all kinds of competitions. And we've seen where there have been takeout orders brought in. People call in, here comes the pizza delivery people and so forth. Well, we'll be able to now provide those services with the food trucks so that folks will be able to go out, buy whatever they like outside the building, bring it into the cafeteria, eat right there, go back in, enjoy the competitions.
Not for sports events yet?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
So
Okay.
this would cover primarily a Friday, Saturday, all-day Saturday, and most of the day Sunday for these events at the JM.
I think it's a great first start. I'd love to see us expand it, as we've talked about.
Well, we've talked about this.
Practices, sports
Mm-hmm,
events, but not even to worry so much about the people who are coming to see a performance, but our kids who are
Right.
staying after school.
What's
And-
key in this is getting the data,
Yeah,
and that's what we need to know.
Yeah.
What are people buying and so forth. So
Right.
once we have that information, I think it will help us to make more informed
Great.
decisions.
great
But
first
It
move.
might be different though, someone attending a weekend jam pack event versus a sporting. Is there a way to test it, kind of do it on pilot? you know,
We'll have
over-
opportunity, I think, to try this out in other
Yeah, Maybe
locations.
just a couple of pilots and
Right.
tests.
Yep.
to-
Right.
to-
Yeah, but again, even for the kids, the
Right.
kids who are coming to school and who have
They're
the
at school all
first,
day.
the first lunch. They're
Right.
eating lunch at
That's right.
10:30.
It's a great service.
And they're going until 5 or 6 with athletic practices, drama club practices, Model UN, any of our extracurriculars. These kids are putting in incredibly long days, and it would be wonderful to offer them healthy snacks that are going to give them some energy, and, hold off until they finally get home to have dinner.
One less thing for parents to worry about is, my kid's hungry.
Exactly.
Right.
It's a
Right.
long day for them, particularly, like I said, if they've got an early lunch schedule.
So if this works, we could, in fact, we have talked with Aramark, as Mr. Giuliano said, and the timing might be such that once we look at all the data, if the board were to consider a renewal with Aramark, that might be the appropriate time to incorporate a food truck in a new contract.
I'm just very glad that you and Bernie really moved forward on this. Really happy to see it. It sounds like it's going to be good for the district.
I want to get my CDL so I can
Well,
drive the food truck.
I was going to say, it's also so rare that
Yeah,
a
but we
board
don't
member
wanna eat
gets
the
to vote
profits.
either for or against Maui Wowie on their agenda. So I think this is an awesome evening here because,
Yeah. good
whoever
point.
thought
Ooh,
that we'd
good
get to
point.
vote on this?
Yeah.
Maui Wowie and bond issuance in the same agenda.
Really, all this, yeah, the same night.
Okay, we're going downhill now. All right.
Okay.
Anyway, any other discussion on any of the items? Will the secretary please call the roll?
Mrs. Becker?
Yes.
Mrs. Chu?
Yes.
Mr. Hong?
Yes,
Abstain.
and I need to abstain from the travel report for myself.
J15.
Yes.
Noted. Mrs. Lax?
Yes.
Mrs. Reese?
Yes.
Mr. Seeler?
Yes.
Mrs. Shaw?
Yes.
And President Simmons?
Yes, the motion carries.